Hello once again. You know the deal. I'm here to bring you the second part of my second Q&A, the answers. Thank you to everyone who participated. Got quite a few more questions versus the last Q&A, so without further ado, let's go. The first question for today comes from the user NUTTYFROG, who asks, do you try to keep up on all the obscure kaiju or just obscure giant monster stuff in general, including lost stuff? That honestly depends on what I come across at the time of browsing and image hunting. Usually the best times upon finding these pieces is serving Japanese Google images. You can be hard pressed as to what you can stumble upon. The second question comes from the user GojiFan2001, who asks, which version of Godzilla's Destroyer Monsters Melee do you prefer, the GameCube or the Xbox? Since I only ever owned and played the GameCube version, that would be my default. Shame we'll never get a definitive re-release of that game. Question number 3 comes from the user TaxiSalad1, who asks, weird one, but favourite instrument? Nothing weird about that. My favourite instrument used to be the violin, but as time has gone by it's starting to shift to piano. I guess that's part of the reason I adore symphonic scores. Question number 4 comes from the user Primal Gryphoenixsaurus Rex. What is your favourite mecha anime? That is simply the Getaroba series, Shin Getaroba in particular. I've always liked the concept of multiple pilots in one machine, or in this case 3. It's a pretty fun franchise all around with a fascinating lore to boot. Geta Valhalla comes to mind. Question number 5 comes from the user Titanosaurus Productions, who asks, what is your favourite Godzilla film? Shin Godzilla, hands down at this point. This entry symbolises the reason why Godzilla has stuck around for 60 years, the human characters and their stories. People tend to forget that if Godzilla was nothing but monsters and monster battles, the series would have died decades ago. In this case, Shin Godzilla alone cannot carry Shin Godzilla. Just like with the original, the very human and political drama is this film's backbone. What helps this time round is Arno's variety of characters, which the series has never been quite graced with before. I could go on all day. My point being is, Shin Godzilla is my favourite because it's a different take on the series that emphasises the very reason the franchise still thrives today. Where do you think the Heisei Gamera trilogy gets its praises from? Well, besides the fantastic tokusatsu aspects. Our sixth question for today comes from user Gojiraj Jr., who asks, what do you think of the Bandai Anime Ghidorah figure? It looks like a rocket ice lolly and every time I look at it I want one. Good job Bandai. Question number 7 comes from user Alan Carlio, who asks, favourite obscure monster? That would be Marine Kong. There is no other made for TV series monster which has such an intriguing behind the scenes history as this one. It predates Ultraman by 6 years and was very popular for its time, popular enough to get additional episodes with an updated suit. And yet the series tapes were believed to be written over, a seemingly common practice back in those days. Its one and Japan only home release was in the 80s on VHS with select episodes, by mail or phone order. One of these tapes fetched 200,000 yen a few years back on Mandarake auction. At the time of this writing that's around $1,770, a lot of bang for your buck. It's safe to say that the Marine Kong VHS tape is the holy grail of obscure kaiju home media. Today's 8th question comes from the user Precursors Inkform, who asks, do you watch Monster Island Buddies? I know of the series and follow the guy on Twitter, but no, outside of a few clips I have not watched Monster Island Buddies. That being said, the guy deserves credit for making and continuing a fan series up to 100 episodes and counting, something largely unheard of from this community, which is saying something. Question number 9 comes from user Lorrain De Los Santos, who asks, what other games do you play? I don't really have what could be considered a varied palette, it honestly boils down to what I'm in the mood for at the time. Now, today's 10th question by KojiNuts92 is probably one that a lot of you have been wondering about for the longest time, who he asks, how do you mix your music pieces? To try and answer this in a short time frame, I will nail it down to points. Point number 1. Listen to and be well versed in different music genres and any song or track that has a certain beat. Point number 2. If you hear something that might go well with a Godzilla or any other track, try and get a rough idea in your head how the combination might sound. This is not foolproof towards the final product, but it helps. Point number 3. Get a music editing software like Audacity and open up both tracks in said program. Make sure the tracks are in a format which the program accepts, like MP3 for example. Point number 4. Then with one or the other or both, experiment with tempo and pitch. The tempo will help you get one track in sync with the other once you mess around with tempo speeds, and tinkering with pitch will help you get one track sounding like the other. Sometimes you may have to cut up the tracks a bit to get them synced better, but avoid doing that as much as you can. These two components are key if you want your mashup to sound good. The closer the sync of the tracks is, the better the end result will sound. And don't expect to get something solid on first try. There is no problem with that, but use it as experience as you experiment further. That's how I got to where I am. I just messed around over the years to see what would stick and work. And that's a very rough guide on how I make my mashups. I am no expert, and all I can offer is advice based on experience. I hope this helps in some form. And the last question today comes from user Dr. Terraminator, who asks, have you ever got... No! Yes I have. But my question to you is, have you ever been WOLOLO'd? WOLOLO, 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 WOLOLO. Ayo-yo-yo, ayo-yo-yo, WOLOLO. And that wraps up the second Q&A. Once again, thank you so much to those who sent questions as well as those who came to listen. The next mashup upload is scheduled for this week, so not much longer to wait. Take care as always and stay gold. This is SUPERTOHOREMIX signing out, and catch you later.